Evening, Kurt.
How you doing?
Good.
Hi, Kurt.
Hi, Cynthia. Hello, Sabrina.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Veronica.
You guys hear
Let
me?
me introduce you to Veronica. She's our district administrator. So she works side by side with me on the district.
Welcome.
We've got Bruce Scheibel's president. We've got Cynthia Barclay. I believe it's secretary,
Mm-hmm.
treasurer, secretary. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I think so far those are the two board members I see. And of course, Kurt Schlegel, who is the prior district manager, but is certainly helping us out gravely during this transition.
Got it. Good to meet you guys.
Good to meet you as well. Hi, Sarah.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Good, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Having fun with elections?
Oh, so much. It's all starting, which is good.
Yes, ma'am.
Keeps me busy.
You're the DEO for multiple, right?
This cycle I have 18.
Oh, geez.
One of them is a polling place in Estes Park, and then the rest are all mail ballot. So
It'll keep you hopping.
it'll keep me going.
Somebody dialed in with the phone number ending in 6327. If you can hear me, just need your name for the minutes, please.
Lee Wilson.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
And then 7 o'clock.
Bruce, it looks like Lewis is just joining,
And so isn't Khadijah.
and she should be on. Yes, sir.
So as soon as Khadijah, there she is. All right, she's on. We can start.
I'm here. I'll be on camera in a minute.
No worries.
Would you like me to call the roll, sir?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, Director Scheibels,
Present.
Director Barclay,
Present.
Director Kennedy,
Present.
Director Haynes,
Present.
Director Williams.
Present.
Yes, sir, you have a quorum, and we can call the order at 7:01.
And Kurt, if you want to run the meeting, the agenda, that's fine with me.
Okay, that'll be great. First item of business is to review and approve the agenda. That was a part of your board packet you received. It was also posted to the website at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. If there are no questions or anything to add or remove from the agenda, just need a motion and a second to approve.
So
I
moved.
move we approve the agenda.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right.
Sorry, Louis.
It's been moved and seconded. Is anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Next is the consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of matters that occur in the normal course of business, and they are usually approved and enacted by one vote, by one motion. So the only item that's on the consent agenda tonight are the approval of the minutes from your special meeting from January 15th, 2025. Those were part of your board packet. If there are no questions or any amendments to those minutes, just need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is anyone opposed? Thank you. Next is correspondence to or from the board or the district. Do any of the directors have any correspondence to share?
No, none from me.
None for me.
Sabrina, anything from the district?
None from me.
All right. So then we can move to public comment. Public comment is a time for public to address the board of directors regarding district-related business. I would just ask that if it's an agenda item, you'll hold your comments until we come to that item. Members of the public, we have several of you with us tonight. If you would just raise your hand on the Zoom call, we can go down the list and call on you. So is there any public comment?
Christina doesn't know how to raise her hand, so just Christina, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see that option. Sorry, y'all. I don't know if this is for this board or if this is something I should save for like the town center meeting. I'm in the Carriage Homes Collection. Right here off 56th and or 55th and Dunkirk or Maxwell and Dunkirk area. And we just recently transitioned from Westwind to Goodwin. So is this a good place to give this feedback, or you want me to hold it for a different meeting?
No, Goodwin is the one, the folks who are taking over from Westwind, and Sabrina, the district manager, is handling for both Town Center and Ebert at this point. For
Yeah, I
those
mean,
type of-
just the transition was not done very well, and that's what I wanted to comment about tonight. The takeover happened Jan 1, and there was zero communication to us about when that actually went effective. I mean, I was present at a couple of the meetings last year when you all approved the change, but it just wasn't communicated. And then Goodwin didn't have our files and wasn't ready to jump in as of Jan 1. So it just was an unfortunate it was an unfortunate transition. It didn't go well. And then Sabrina and I have been in contact about covenant enforcement over here, and I'm frustrated. I don't understand why we have covenants if there's no recourse to get somebody to follow the rules. So I'm just feeling frustrated all around with how that happened. It's a covenant issue I've been dealing with. I was dealing with Westwind in December. Then the transition happened and I had no idea and had to start over essentially. So, and now we're in March and it's still happening.
Hi, Christina. It's Sabrina. I just want to speak a little bit to the transition. I do understand that that has been a little bit more than what I think we all thought it would look like. There has been a lot of parts that are involved in that transition, and unfortunately, information just came over in truckloads and dumpfuls, and we had to sort through the information received and ensure that we were getting the right homeowners into the system, and not those homeowners that were on the list of owners that should not have been a part of that. So there was a lot of, unfortunately, upfront legwork that we had to put into that to ensure that we were getting the right information out to the right people within the district. So I do apologize tremendously for the information coming out so late. It was just difficult to know who we were sending that right off the front of January. We hopefully have sorted through that part of it and have gotten notice to everybody at this point, identifying that Goodwin is now the district management company and how you can reach us and contact us. And of course, Town Square, which is our application that really is our point of communication, document holder, and any point of contact through there as well. As far as the enforcement issue, I am aware of it. We are doing what we can per the covenant enforcement policy to notify both the owner, the tenants, whoever are involved, whatever parties may be involved there, of the issue. But we do have the policy that we have to follow. It does require us to send a number of letters and allow cure time as well. So I just want you to know that we're aware of the situation. We're watching it, we're monitoring it, we're pursuing it as we can accordingly to the enforcement policy.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that. It's just, this is an extremely long, drawn out, it's a parking issue. We have shared auto courts over here. And because that covenant was not enforced regularly under Westwind and whoever the MSI before that, it's just, so there's just no recourse is how it feels. The other thing I wanted to mention is last year at the end of the year, the meetings I attended, you all said you wanted more participation, talked about getting community engagement. I got notice of this meeting yesterday. I know that's probably allowed under the rules, 24 hours notice, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you want people involved, we need more notice. It's extremely difficult to have 24 hours notice and get into these meetings. And some of us are, I'm a part of 3 metro districts, so I have to attend multiple meetings if I guess I want to be in the know. So that's it.
Thank you, Christina.
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Christina, I want to thank you for your comments. We are working hard to make things better. I want to assure you that your comments have been heard and that we have great confidence in Goodwin, and we will work hard to make sure that you have everything that you need as a homeowner in the district.
Is there any other public comment? Hearing none, we'll move forward. We'll go on to director's items and comments. Bruce, would you like to start?
Well, there's nothing under director's items. Some of the stuff will come up under the unfinished business. I will tell you that we had, I did attend the consolidation hearing with the court on Friday, but Evan will be going over that, what happened there. And then Sarah is here, our designated legislative official, to talk about the board election process, or lack thereof, to steal some of her thunder, in May as well. But I don't have any other items. I don't have any other items specifically under the agenda.
Any other directors, any items or anything you'd like to discuss before we move on?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, great. So we'll go to unfinished business. First is a 2025 election update. Sarah, your designated election official, has joined us tonight. So Sarah, the floor is yours.
All right, I have good news. As of the, what is today, the 4th? As of yesterday, I did not receive more candidate nomination forms and seats available. So what that means is that I can cancel the director portion of the election, because they are two separate elections. Your consolidated election is a court-ordered election. So the director elections are a regular election that happens every odd-numbered year, every May in odd-numbered years. So I received self-nomination forms from Elise Topless, Bruce, and Khadijah, all for 4-year terms. And then Michael, I received his for a 2-year term. So as of today, I can cancel the director portion of the election. I will get those cancellation documents circulated to the candidates, the newly elected candidates, later this week. So the director election portion is taken care of. We're good there. I did review, actually, I drafted your ballot today, or the ballots today. Evan and Glory took a look. The ballot will include, as you know, just one question, and that's the consolidation question. Ballots will be delivered to eligible electors of Ebert Metropolitan District, of Town Center Metropolitan District, which and then the Town Center sub-districts 1 through 5. Now, some of those homes, some of those sub-districts and districts overlap, but I'm working with the county to make sure that everybody is getting the correct ballot, not getting two.
Can you
So you had your
tell
hand
us
raised?
the dates?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, could you tell us the dates when the ballots will be mailed out?
Sure. The ballots are able to be mailed out starting April 14th. And then the last day to mail, I think, is 7 days later, the 22nd. However, the printer that I work with that helped with our election previously was at 22. He'll get them out the first day that they're available to be mailed, so the 14th.
And they're due, is it by 5 p.m. on is it the 6th?
It is the 6th, but it is 7 p.m. The polls close, so the mail ballot drop-off location, which is my office in Denver, Cherry Creek, those ballots can be hand-delivered up until 7 p.m. on election day, election night.
So someone will be at your office, you'll be able to access your office till 7 p.m.?
We will be, multiple people will be there, my election judges, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So anybody can drop off a ballot, or come in if they didn't get a ballot, request one. We'll do, obviously the research to make sure they can receive a ballot. But our office will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And that's May 6th, correct?
May 6th, Tuesday.
Sarah, this is Evan.
Mr.
We talked about having a Dropbox, locked Dropbox at the Goodwin headquarters, or whatever kind of storefront is going to be there. So I guess I'll have to ask Sabrina, do we have an office somewhere in the commercial zone there near GVR or
Not yet, no. It's in the works, but it's not ready yet, so.
I
When-
will
Currently
say,
just,
I will say the idea of that may be I mean, it definitely is not something we can't consider, but it might be problematic. Only because if someone comes to that polling or that drop-off box at 6:45 and drops off their ballot, there's no way it could get to me by 7 PM in Cherry Creek. And so we would also need someone to check that locked drop box multiple times a day, which sounds like wouldn't be a problem. The main concern I have is the 7 PM getting ballots to me or my office.
So I'm gonna interject, and I'm sorry that I wasn't called on, but this is not acceptable. We need to have a ballot box in community, and they need to be able to drop ballots until 7 o'clock. The Denver Clerk and Recorder, the Colorado Secretary of State, all find a way to receive ballots that have been received by that cutoff time. I would like to have a formal process with our really wonderful law firm and with Sabrina, our district manager, to figure out how we are able to accept ballots right up until 7 PM. And whatever process is necessary, coordinating with either the Secretary of State or the Denver Clerk and Recorder to deliver those ballots, to be able to count them and have an election results delivered in time. The last election that happened, which was the general election, was I think we didn't receive final information on that until sometime Wednesday morning. I think that is acceptable to the community, but it is not acceptable in my mind to have to deliver ballots outside of the district and within a timeline that doesn't necessarily relate to the electorate of this particular race. And I know well that both of you agree with that, and I appreciate that you are following the rules, but I want to call out that you know and appreciate that.
Absolutely.
While I have the floor, I would like to also say that I am opposed to canceling the district part of the election. I think it smells of voter disenfranchisement. And I think that I would like to understand the cost, Evan, of having the directors' names on that ballot and having the electorate actually say whether or not they support those who have self-nominated. So it is really, really important to me to have representation, especially in light of this consolidation and the years-long concern about a lack of participation in electing directors. So I want to make sure that we take every step possible to allow our electorate to have a voice, even if we only have 4 candidates for 4 slots.
All right, Khadija, thank you for your comments. Regarding the first issue, we will figure out a chain of custody that fits the law so that we can have a box in the community there until 7. We'll figure out a way to do it. I don't know if Sarah herself will have to be there and
I'll be
drive it back after 7, or we can have somebody on the canvassing committee or something. Anyway, we'll figure that out. And but it also means that Sabrina has to have her office available. So
From 7 AM to 7 PM, yes.
Sabrina, will you have a place like within a month from now, or how soon?
no, ours won't likely be until June, but I am at the clubhouse at Subdistrict 1 currently.
Oh, so you mean that could be a drop-off location?
Yes, it could.
Okay, so we have a location we can use. We just need to work out the logistics of the timing of it all. Are you there, what, 8 to 5, 9 to 5 every day?
Yeah.
or what?
If I had to be there later to ensure that we're collecting those, great. I know I'm not a part of the whole, elector, but I can do whatever I need to do to ensure I'm there to accept those ballots as needed.
Okay.
So 7 a.m., 7 p.m. is good.
Yes.
Okay, so
And
we'll
we
figure
would
that
have to, I mean, calling the actual election, that's one more publication, right?
Well, there,
Wait a minute, are you talking about the director election now?
Not
or-
call it, I mean, when we actually have the election, don't we have to do one more published where we inform the electorate of the process
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
and where they would be dropping or whatever?
right. So typically in the election resolution, going back that you guys adopted if there are more than one drop-off location, if there is one more than one, it would be noted in that resolution. But in the in the notice of election that does get published, that would have the information on where you can drop off ballots and the location, the time, the contact information.
So in this case, our notice could have both at Keegar Law and at the clubhouse address. And have the same, we could put two addresses in that notice
Right,
that we publish.
right.
Okay.
So that we will work on the logistics and make sure that happens. Then the second thing that Khadijah talked about is whether or not to cancel the district director election. And it is routinely done, Khadijah, as you may know, because you do avoid the costs of printing the ballots and doing the publication of the notice, and also the effort of collecting the ballots and counting the ballots and all of that stuff. We would have to get you a cost estimate of that. And then we can let you know how much money you're saving by not holding the election. And then the board, I guess, could determine whether they want to do it. However, how much time do we have, Sarah? I mean, we have some deadlines that are quick upon us, don't we?
I have to certify the ballot by Friday. I have to get the self-nomination forms. If typically when an election is contested, director election is contested, the self-nomination forms are sent to the Secretary of State's office for fair campaign practices regulations, and I have to do that by Friday. I will say as it stands, and I'm just talking through logistics, but as it stands right now, without the directors going for Ebert, the ballot is the same ballot, but titled for each specific district. If the directors were to be left on the ballot, Ebert's ballot would be completely separate than the sub-districts 1 through 5 and town center. Which is fine. Just talking through logistics. I also, because there are not more seats, self-nomination forms than seats available, all the names would appear on the ballot, and the instructions would obviously be pick 3 persons for a 3-year term, pick 1.
4-year.
4-year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say 3? I've been dealing with 3-year term questions all day today. So sorry. Thanks for keeping me honest. So just logistics. I'm just trying to think through how that would work. The costs might go up a little bit having different ballots for the 6 districts, 5 sub-districts, 1 district, and then Ebert.
It's a little more complicated to keep track of because you have the in-boundary Ebert people voting on directors, as well as the consolidation question. And then those external ones would just have the consolidation question.
Right. And Evan, I talked to the Denver clerk and recorder and assessor quite a bit. And as you know, some homes are both in a sub-district and Ebert. So they would have to get 2 separate ballots because they would be voting as a resident of the sub-district. and as a resident of Ebert Metropolitan District, if the ballots were different.
So their ballots to the sub-district people would have to be one ballot for directors and one other ballot for the consolidation question. They get two ballots.
No, so the sub-districts and town center, their ballots will just be the consolidation question. And if Ebert is going to hold the director election, Ebert's ballots will be the director and the question. But to
Right.
confuse matters, there are residents or eligible electors that are both in Ebert and the sub-district. So they'd be receiving the sub-district's ballot with just the question, and then they would be receiving Ebert's ballot with the question and so that's something we need to talk about.
We wouldn't be able to do that. It would,
Because that's,
you've got to.
Yeah, because people who are in both districts should not be able to vote twice on the consolidation
No.
Correct.
question.
correct.
So it would be a little complicated to do
Yes,
it.
but we pay for complication. That we pay for complication, and we pay for the ability to have people have an opportunity to vote. So what I would like to do, understanding your timeline, Sarah, and I apologize because I understand the stress of getting things done in a tight timeline. And I'm sorry, I'm looking and I see that we have a message that someone else would like to speak. So let me be very quick in saying, again, there are very few things that I will dig my heels in on, and having people be able to vote is one of the things that I will dig my heels in on. I'm sorry that it will create time
No.
and effort for folks, but I believe the ability to vote, the Voter Rights Act, in this time that we are in, I will not concede unless the board of directors votes at this time that they would like to not proceed with the complications. And then I will defer back to Kurt. You are conducting a wonderful meeting. Someone has their hand up, and I will.
Thank you.
And I'm fine with Deb giving her comment.
And Deborah, what's your last name for the minutes, please? You're muted.
Meglio, Meglio.
Thank you.
You bet. I just have a quick comment question. There was the mention of 2 drop-off locations. Sarah, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, but I think at one point for one election, I went to your office, which is a home in Cherry Creek. Am I correct?
So that was an interesting case. It was during COVID, and it was an in-between where our offices, one was being shut down and we were moving to a new one. So that drop-off location was at my home.
Okay, it was difficult.
That's
fine.
Yeah, so it will not be like that this time.
Okay, it was a little difficult to find, and that was one of my questions. The other is, do we have to have 2 locations, or could we just do the one? Because you mentioned if we have 2, you have to change the ballot, etc. That's quite a ways from where we are. It might be more convenient for everybody just to go to the location Sabrina will be at. Just a suggestion.
No, that's something to consider for sure.
Yeah, we could establish that as the only drop off. It just has to be secure, a locked ballot box, and Sabrina has to bird dog the thing all the time.
Yeah.
But
Man it from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then 7 to 7 on election day.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
but it is true that if we use our office as a second location, which we certainly can do as well, it in Cherry Creek. It's in an office building. It's got parking. It's got we can give the suite number. It's easy to find. So you won't have to hunt in a neighborhood. That's for sure.
A lot of construction there. I had to hunt in the neighborhood to go to the last meeting, and it was not ADA accessible.
Well, you're right. They have been doing a lot of construction on one street it seems like it's gone on for over a year. So yeah, that could be a factor. So really though, Khadijah has strongly voiced her opinion that we should have a director election. So at some point on the agenda tonight, that should be considered by the board, and it's up to the board.
Khadijah, I understand your passion and what you're saying. My concern is I just heard Sarah say, if we did that, she has to do something and certify something by Friday, and we're going to go from already a $30,000 or $40,000 election to maybe $50,000 or $60,000, and I'm not sure that it's worth it to have a director election when unfortunately we didn't get enough interest in self-nomination forms when the call had been out there, been on our website for a month. And we only got, I'm happy that we don't have to, appoint somebody to a vacancy. My inclination is that we should just have the consolidation question on the ballot and focus on that on this election, and not have the added elector, I appreciate what you're saying, but I just don't think the extra expense is worth it without having a contest involved. Because we didn't even get a write-in candidate.
Thank you for your comments. We don't know what the additional expenses are. And then I repeat my request to have a formal vote, yes, no, from every board member, whether we will keep board members on the ballot. I believe Evan said that he could provide a cost. We don't know what the cost would be. And we do pay for this work to be done. So I would like to I'm just flat out going to ask for a yes, no vote of the board, whether they want to have a board election included or not.
Is that a motion, Ms. Haynes?
It is not. I'm being polite. I am allowing an opportunity for agreement, but should I need to, I will in a second. So I'm asking, will the board, without a motion and an individual count, support including a vote on directors? And let me say that I understand, Bruce, what you're saying, that we have tried to get directors, but the directorship has been concentrated in Fairway Villas for a long period of time. It has only been very recently that we've had board members from outside of that area. It has been years since we have had full representation from the rest of the community. And at the very least, since we still don't have what I think is measured widespread participation, the very least that we can do in a step in the right direction is at least let people vote. So it is not a motion, Kurt, thank you. But at this point, I would like to hear from the other directors who have not spoken.
This is Director Kennedy. I would be more inclined to spend the differential between the consolidation only election and the more complicated voting on only directors, one director per position cost. I'd be more inclined to spend that differential money on an outreach campaign to the community so that we can stymie this lack of participation. That's been a historical issue, but I'm not sure just putting 3 names on for 3 positions is effective. And I'm not sure it'll make a difference in participation as we might find if we spend the money on an outreach. So I'd be more in favor of that. Thank you.
Mike or Cynthia, do you have any comment?
No, I think it's a waste of money. Does she need numbers? Is that what it is? And we've talked about outreach. We've talked about trying to get people, I don't know how much more involved. Did you send them a golden invitation to submit by the deadline? Did everybody get something? I mean, they're very good. Everybody's good with the emails, Kurt, Sabrina. I mean, I don't understand why people don't take an interest and go to a website. How many more things can you list for people to go and get information? What else is there the board's job to do that? To me, it's not necessary unless Khadijah wants an actual count. But what's the count gonna do? You're filling the vacancies. So I would not waste the money myself.
Thank you. I appreciate comments from both of you all and concede to the will of the board. It makes sense to me. Thank you.
From my perspective, being outside of that area that Khadijah was talking about, sometimes individuals don't see an email. I think the aspect of really reaching far-reaching and really trying to get a hold of individuals and reaching them on different platforms in different ways and different manners. We've talked a lot. I've talked to different board members about outreach, about communication, and I think there's a lot that we can do. I think it's not a means of wasting money. And that's not the intent of wasting taxpayer money. But I think if we can be good stewards and be good leaders, if we can take an opportunity, much of what Lewis said, of a little bit more of communication and outreach to our community and trying to get a diverse perspective and get diverse individuals on this board that are truly the makeup of this community, I think it's worth it if we take that viewpoint and approach that Lewis spoke to. So I am in favor of the means of what Lewis spoke to, of really truly putting together some means of communication outreach to the community and see what individuals are truly have a drive to be a public servant and be a part of this board and reaching to them in more means than just an email communication. I know that's effective for a lot of us, but that's not, there's just a diverse way of reaching out to individuals. And I think we need to leverage all those opportunities in this community as we continue to grow and change. And I think we need to move forward in that means.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, I think we can move on to to let Evan tell us about the consolidation hearing and what's going on next with consolidation.
Will do, Bruce, will do. On the last point though, let me just say quickly, the board is going to be probably going to be putting together, an architectural review committee of people who are not currently involved. And, you get good active participation in these meetings that we do by Zoom. This is a great turnout compared to a lot of districts we represent. So anyway, I think as this board begins to manage the district rather than the external developer management that's gone on for all these years, there will be more people that will start to learn about what the board's doing and being involved with it. But it takes a little time for that transition to occur. Anyway, on to the consolidation hearing. So what we, following all the rules that are in the statutes for doing a consolidation of districts, we noticed and provided notice to the city and county of Denver and to the county about the fact that we were going to do this consolidation and that we were going to the court hearing. A notice was published in the newspaper that a court hearing would be held on the legality of the consolidation. And last Friday, the hearing was held before the district court judge down in Denver at the city building. And no one appeared to oppose the consolidation. No protests were filed per the statute. And the judge went ahead and entered an order calling for this election to occur on May 6th. So that's, as Sarah mentioned, there will be this ballot with that simple question on it, and it'll go to every person living within Ebert, as well as every person living within the sub-districts of Town Center.
And I will say that they have to be eligible electors. Sorry, Evan. I just want to make sure that that's not every person. You have to be registered to vote, but continue on. So sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And I should have said that more precisely, but yes, eligible electors, which are people who own property or reside in the district, or in a few cases are under contract to purchase the property. So the eligible electors are defined by statute, and Sarah will go through a process to make sure that the people who are eligible will get the ballot and be able to vote on the consolidation question. So that will occur, and we will see after May 6th. We anticipate there will be mostly approval. We don't really know until we have the election, but we expect it'll be approved, and then we will go back to the court and seek an order which confirms and finalizes the consolidation, and that'll be some couple months after the election. So anyway, everything is underway as people who've been working on this for quite a few months have been setting up. So encourage your neighbors to vote if they can on this question.
Do we have the actual wording of the ballot question?
Yes.
I don't know if you might. I actually have it. I can pull it up and share my screen. Evan, would you be?
Yeah, no, you can do that. We actually had the question drafted way back in December when you passed your election resolution. It was attached to the election resolution that was passed on December 3rd at your meeting. But anyway, Sarah can show everyone.
Can everyone see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can. I'm on my laptop. Oh, hey, a little too large. So yep, it'll just say Ebert Metropolitan District ballot question A. Shall the Ebert Metro District be consolidated with Town Center? And like Evan said, this question was drafted quite a few months ago, but consolidated with Town Center Metropolitan District to create a resident-controlled, unified metropolitan district to be known as the Ebert Metropolitan District. So the only difference between the Town Center ballot and the Town Center sub-districts ballot, as you will see where it says Ebert, excuse me, if you see Ebert, it will say the specific respective district name or sub-district name.
So there'll be another ballot printed that says Town Center Metropolitan District, and then there'll be another ballot that says Town Center Metropolitan District, Sub-District 1, and so forth, up to Sub-District 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have essentially 7 versions of ballots,
yes,
all with this one question stated the same, with 2 squares for voting for or against.
But again, you got to figure out some way, because I live in sub-district 4. My wife and I are not going to get 4 ballots, right?
No. Really, Sarah and I didn't talk about this yet today, but really you're going to have only sub-districts 2 and 5 have residents that are outside of the Ebert boundaries.
Correct. Yep.
So really you're going to, 7 is not right. I misspoke. You're really going to have one ballot that goes to all the Ebert people, and a second ballot that goes to Town Center only, which is really just the 5 directors that are on Town Center's board right now. No one lives within the golf course property, right? So there's no resident in there. So really that's one ballot. And then there'll be a sub-district 2 ballot that goes only to those people who are outside of the Ebert boundaries, and a sub-district 5 ballot that'll go only to those people in sub-district 5 that are outside of the Ebert boundaries.
And one of the town center board members lives in sub-district 1. So you can't have him get 2 ballots.
So you're thinking of
So I
Bill
will,
Schmidt?
oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will say that I was talking with like I had said earlier, the Denver assessor and clerk and recorder today. They have a great system down. They actually were super helpful. I've never had a county Denver employee do this for me, so it was very kind, but we've got it split out. So every district, sub-district is separate. They've already checked the names, making sure there wasn't duplicates. That doesn't mean that I still don't go, I'm still going to go through it, but it is a little peace of mind that I have voter names for each separate entity at local government.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And you're right. There will not be 2 ballots to anybody unless we make a mistake somewhere. But
Nope.
that's
No, we will not.
the goal.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Next item then is to discuss the selection process for the Architectural Review Committee.
That's Sabrina.
Yeah, so I currently have 8 homeowners that have volunteered to join the architectural committee. I did give 30 days for anybody to give feedback, so that window is still open, but at this point I have at least 8 people volunteering, which is fantastic. I'm only missing one from sub-district 2 and sub-district 4. Otherwise I've got them all encompassed in those volunteers that I've got so far.
You've got nobody from sub-district 4. That's surprising.
Nobody from 4, right?
Okay.
So, window's still open, and I'll just continue to provide feedback as we get further volunteers. Maybe it is the right time to discuss the number. Are we gonna settle with 6?
As I recall, the way we have that written, when you do have to have representation from the various sub-districts, doesn't the number automatically add up? Isn't it, I guess what I'm trying to say is in the resolution, the rules and regs, I think it sets out the number, doesn't it?
I think we debated it and said we can debate that further, if I can recall that correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was, there'll be, each of the sub-districts is 5. We added you as a member or your
Right.
designee, so that's 6. And then we wanted, I would think the committee should have an odd number so there aren't tie votes on whatever. So I guess that we would need, what, 3 at large? Or
So
do we
we'd have
make the Ebert member a voting member? So there would be 2 at large, and Ebert member is a voting member. So that would be 9 members of this committee.
Yeah. But it can operate even if it's not full. I mean, you want to try and fill it, but if you don't get anyone from sub-district 4, for example, you can still convene and start to operate and continue to try and fill that other position.
Sure. Okay. Well, I've got 8 so far. We'll see what we get back within that deadline timeframe, and I guess at that point we can firm up the number of members we'd like to be on that committee.
Okay.
Thank you, Sabrina.
You bet.
Now we can move into new business. Bruce, you had wanted to talk about a possible public work session regarding the consolidation process in April. That would be a special meeting.
Yeah, I know we approved the agenda, but this is something I know we're going to discuss in the executive session as to what we can and can't.
Well, we
may
can.
need to decide what we can and can't discuss in a work session. But as far as this agenda item right now, I'm envisioning the public work session being maybe a hybrid in-person and virtual session to hopefully get more input. There's been some discussion about the need to the consolidation process. There's some folks who have said if the ballot comes to homes and people just get this. Some people may just vote no because they don't know anything about it and they just have a knee-jerk reaction and they vote no for the hell of it because they don't know anything about it and they don't like government, and so they just vote no because they don't know anything. And because I'm somebody who wants to give as much information out there as possible. I looked into, with my wife actually, I know that the library is open until 8 o'clock on Thursdays. And we called the library. Unfortunately, their reservation system is down until March 10th. But we could have this on a Thursday night. They have a room that's open until 8 o'clock. And so we could do it some Thursday, maybe the second or third Thursday of April, either right before ballots go out or after ballots have gone out, to do a hybrid work session. We got to figure out how to, do the Zoom from there. I don't know if the equipment Sabrina has, at the clubhouse could be brought over there or whatever, but, maybe do it starting at 6 and then we could bleed over into, the 7 to 8 time period and just discuss consolidation it's a work session, so there no decisions can be made. It's basically just an informational session where we discuss, pros and cons to keep it legal under the state laws. But that's what this item is, a public work session on consolidation and, what it will mean and just to get information out there. So that's what I'm talking about with that item under new business.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Next is to consider resolution advocating voter approval of consolidation. And I will share my screen.
And I'll let Evan lead this discussion.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, to follow up on what Bruce was saying about it, the work session, I've advised the board that they can hold a public meeting to discuss this vote on consolidation, and I've encouraged them to do so. So that's what Bruce was talking about trying to organize. Meanwhile, the statutes also allow the district board to approve a resolution in favor of the question on consolidation or any ballot question that is before a district electorate. So this is a resolution that does just that. And it's in the board packet. It was provided to the board and others for tonight's meeting. And the board can consider this and approve it if they would like. And then it can be publicized by posting on the district's website. And that it shows a support for a vote yes.
Bert, can you make that just a little bit bigger? Great, thanks.
There you go. And it just, typical resolutions for the district board, goes through some whereases about the fact that we've got both of these districts and they overlap for the most part, or parts anyway. And it makes sense as part of this transition from developer control to resident control that we do this consolidation, as provided that the voters approve it, and that the board urges the voters within the district to vote in favor and vote yes on the question on the ballot.
So in order to move forward, just need a motion to approve and adopt the resolution. If that's seconded, then you can discuss the resolution.
I move that we approve this resolution advocating voter approval of the ballot question A, to consolidate the Ebert Metropolitan District and the Town Center Metropolitan District.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. It's been moved and seconded. Now you can discuss if you'd like.
Yes, I'd like to have just a point of conversation on this. So Evan, as board action, this establishes the board's position if it's successful in this vote. Where else does this resolution go? What else does it serve?
Well, I mean, it's a matter of public record, so it can be put on the website, like you said, you know, for people to find. But it's a public document; it could be disseminated anywhere. It's just, you know, you could hand it to your neighbor if you wanted to, Lois, or anybody could do that. You can print it off of the website.
Yeah. So as a promotion, promotion's not the right word. But as an informational measure, this could be printed and made available to anybody before the election without it being subject to election law. I'm trying to think of the term.
Well,
You know, like
yeah,
we
well,
find.
I'll help you. I mean, the all elections in the state of Colorado are governed by the Fair Campaign Practices Act.
That's the
It
one,
has
yeah.
some kind of, I will admit, kind of arcane rules about what you can and can't do using the public funds. So, for example, you could not take this resolution and print it on a postcard and mail it at district expense to every person in the district or every voter in the district. You just can't do that according to the Fair Campaign Practices Act. But the act does allow the board to act on a resolution of this type and show that they are in favor of a yes vote on the question. And then, you know, if it gets disseminated by hand or, you know, on your website or however else, that's fine. You just
Or
can't-
social media, right? As in individual residents posting it as social media communication, that's not a problem.
Absolutely. Individuals, even board members acting as individuals and on behalf of the board, you can do this.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. That's the clarification I was looking for then.
Is there any discussion, other discussion regarding the motion that's before you? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, or is there anyone opposed to the resolution? No one's opposed, so it passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next item is to consider a resolution that designates a location to post notice for the district. This is an annual request. Gloria, I know you sent this over. Did you want to discuss this at all?
Actually, if Sarah's still on, she is much more equipped with this, but I'm not sure if she is. But
I am.
yeah, so Sarah is the expert on these resolutions. I do just want to note that the physical location, we did leave that blank, as I have been encountering in various district board meetings that the board sometimes likes to adjust that physical posting location. So we did leave that blank for the board to discuss and pick the physical posting location. So, but I will let Sarah take it away.
Thank you. So the districts, special districts adopt this resolution designated posting location once a year, typically at the beginning of the year. And like Lori had said, it just designates a physical location and a website. The website is the main location where your notices, your meeting notices are posted. There is a designated backup physical location in case the internet is down or the website link is broken. There is always that backup, and the state does require you to, at the very least, have a website, but the backup location is noted in the resolution as well. And Glory had a good point. We do have districts that change their location quite often, yearly possibly. So when the board has decided what location is best, we can fill that in for you.
Now, I think last year we actually designated the King Soopers bulletin board as our physical location. I know that Goodwin is in the process of working with the medical office building to get a physical office location, but it's not going to be available, and I don't even know the address, available until I think June is what Sabrina said.
Yes, sir. And the board did designate or request that we have King Soopers as the posting location. However, at the next regular meeting, I went to that King Soopers to post notice for the meeting, and the manager would not let us post that. So,
Oh,
I will
really?
also say the designated posting, the physical location must be within the boundaries of the district. Is the King Supers there in the district?
Yes.
It's within the physical boundaries.
yes, but they will not allow it.
Interesting.
I mean, once if the consolidation is approved and goes forward, then the golf course, clubhouse and all that country in there could be used, because that'll be within the district. But right
Well,
now,
technically, that's within the district now too.
well, but not technically within the boundaries of the district, because that is only in town center, the golf course itself.
Oh, because it's, even though it's physically enclosed, but it's within the town center part of the district. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the
I
bulletin board that's at the rec center? I mean, post it there.
That seems like the most logical place to me.
Yep.
And this is only posted if we can't post it to the website, correct?
Right.
No,
That's correct.
well, you do both.
You would do both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so for Town Center, they did not have a website for their last meeting, so we had to physically post it. We did I think it's near the director parcel, which is by the gas pipeline, I believe on 56th, and I think
Yeah,
it's
56 in Nepal or whatever. Yeah.
Nepal is where we posted that last time. It's making a suggestion.
I think the rec center makes a lot of sense because that is where the ballot box for the community also sits, the permanent one. So it's kind of I would think a more logical go-to place for the community.
Yeah. That's fine. The Green Valley Ranch Rec Center, is there a bulletin board inside the lobby? It's been
Yes.
so long since I've been in there.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So I would just ask, is there a motion to approve and adopt this resolution?
Yes, with the Green Valley Ranch Rec Center as the physical location.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Is there anyone opposed to the resolution designating the posting location for the district? Thank you very much. We'll move on to financial items. Alyssa, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Outstanding. And I've enabled screen share if you'd like. It's up to you. Or do you want me to pull it up?
You can pull it up. I won't be going
Okay.
very much. Should be okay to follow along.
Okay.
So we do have our November and December financials in the packet. I won't go over in too much detail since there wasn't really much deviation from what we expected when we were working on the budget. So thankfully, no bad surprises. Just wanted to bring your attention to one item on the general fund. So if you want to go to the next page, Kurt. Yep. So if you guys can see in your revenue, there was some other revenue received in November that was not budgeted for. So what this is backfill revenue from the state, essentially. It is portrayed on your property tax schedule as well, but the reason it's coded to other revenue is because it was not levied for and it was a one-time payment from the state. So some background on this. If you guys remember when we were working on the 2024 budget back in 2023, there was legislation that ultimately decreased the assessment rates. So a bill was passed where the state determined backfill taxes to be reimbursed to the districts to essentially make up for those decrease in rates. So that's what Ebert Metro District received, about $6,400 of backfill revenue from the state.
I think that's a good handling of it, keeping it in the other category because it's a one-off and that way it doesn't distort the regular property tax line. So thank you for doing it that way.
Of course. And then the other side to this is that I think I got one comment from Bruce, but since, we're meeting, I figured get consensus from the board. We did include it since it's general fund revenue We did include it in the services outlay to town center line, so to be transferred to town center. Since this wasn't part of the 18 or 17 mills, I think 2024, I don't think it's mandatory under the agreement. So I think it's really up to the direction at the board if they want me to back that out, or if we do want to transfer that to town center or keep it in the general fund, essentially.
And my position was, I think we should just keep it in the general fund, particularly with what's going on now with potential consolidation.
I would agree with Bruce on that. That makes a lot more sense.
All right, perfect. So that will just affect December financials. It'll be backed out. So then you'll see the ending fund balance in your general fund go up about $6,400.
And Alyssa, did that come in November, or when was the receipt on that?
Yeah, it was received in November, and most of our counties, tried to give us a heads up and put it on our property tax statements, but Denver County did not. So it just showed up as a deposit. We didn't really know about it before.
Got it.
Showed up in November.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Otherwise, yep, as I said, no surprises. Everything was pretty much as we discussed during the budgets. We have started on your draft audit. Your field work will start in a couple weeks and we'll get that going.
Thank you.
Do you want to go over December financials at all?
Unless the board had any questions, no, I don't think.
Okay.
All right, then our other item is going to be our claims. So these are going to be your invoices processed and paid since the last meeting. So all of the district's 2024 invoices have been paid except for those two showing at the bottom. We did receive the December invoice late February, so that one's being processed right now, the legal invoice at the bottom. And then we do owe the city and county of Denver $3,000 for the special district fee. It is showing an invoice date of June. This was not our fault. There's been an issue with them. We've been trying to get it rectified for months. Kurt has been trying to reach out to them and they haven't gone back, but we do know we owe $3,000 for 2024. So we're just gonna get that one paid. They think we owe more, so we're not gonna pay their full amount. We just owe the $3,000.
So that's the one where we pretty sure that we paid them. Is it years ago?
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we paid them. We've given them
$9,000.
Yeah, so they think we owe for prior years. We do not. We just owe for 2024. It should just be one fee of $3,000.
And that's the way Alex. There is no live body to get a hold of or have anybody return a call or talk to at that office. We've been trying for the last 8 months and nobody returns calls or emails.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that explanation. I was going to ask about that item. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Which office at the city are you trying to reach?
Let me tell you. It's City and County of Denver, Department of Finance. And the gentleman's name is Dennis Wegenek.
If you will please email that to me, Kurt, or call me tomorrow, I will have that handled.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. Thank you. If there's no questions about the payables that Alyssa has presented, I just need a motion and a second to ratify and approve.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Next is District Manager's Report, and I know Sabrina, you had a few items that were in the packet.
Yeah, so just a quick overview of the current enforcement. We have 51 violations at the current moment. This graph shows the majority of what those are. Of course, further details can be provided as needed, but because they're details related to the homeowners, they're not in the packet, but this snapshot provides the biggest issues we're seeing. The largest one would be decorations, and then we move into unsightly items. Rubbish and debris and vehicle parking are items that have been focused and targeted on this, not targeted on, but reviewed. That was the wrong word. As we're doing our violation enforcement inspections.
And Sabrina, is this just since January 1st?
Yes.
Okay, and I just wanted, going back, I didn't comment when, was it Christina or Christiana was making her comments.
Yes, Christina.
Did Westwind, basically you had to start from scratch with anything that Westwind had going, either because you didn't get the status of what was going on with any violations that Westwind was looking at, or can you maybe give a little bit more background of
Yeah.
what I don't know, crap you were given from Westwind?
You bet. So Westwind systems and softwares are not something that we could merge into SmartWebs. SmartWebs is the software we use. We originally had thought that they had that system and we were looking at a complete merger over and just starting from where they were at. Unfortunately, that is not the software they had. But I do want to say anything that has been to the level of turning it over to our legal team, Altitude Law, for any further action. Those things are still in motion. We can't just stop those at this point. I mean, I suppose we can and go in and tell Altitude to just stop, but those things that had already progressed to the point where they were turned over are still in action and are moving forward. It is those letters that were on like a first, second, or third letter that we did have to start over from letter number 1, following that enforcement policy that we have in place now with eBird.
Okay, and so these 51 all started January 1st, and they're based on the new statute with regard to how enforcement happens with letters and what have you. And are any of these getting to the point where, or how has been the response on these?
So lots of responses on these, lots of homeowners reaching back out to discuss the issue. I also have lots of prior homeowners that have received violation fines and have now received a statement showing that they owe a violation fine from prior violations with Westwind, are calling us as well. So a lot of communications from these homeowners trying to figure out why, 1, they have a violation fine on their account, or 2, why now they're getting a letter. So yeah, I can say the volume of communications back from these homeowners is rather high.
And do you have, like, these 51 include some of the prior violations?
These ones, no, these would not be the prior. These are just fresh new from the start.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And we are doing those drives every Tuesday and Thursday through the community, just trying to get the word out that, you know, when somebody's out there driving slowly through the community, possibly taking photos as well, just know that it is us on a Tuesday and a Thursday coming through that community, trying to ensure that we're capturing those enforcement items. We're required to take that photo and ensure we identify the issue on the letter that we're sending out as well. So we just want to get the word out there that it is us out there, and please know that, you know, nobody is taking pictures of your home just unknowingly. We'll also have some intentions here to send out e-blast to the homeowners, just giving them an identification of the things we will be looking for ahead of time. Hopefully that helps resolve some of the violation letters from having to go out, because they would have resolved those issues based on the e-blast, knowing that we're coming to look for those types of things. So that communication hopefully will be helpful as well.
Mr. Williams, did you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Sabrina. I just had a couple quick questions for you. I know earlier on with our rules, we talked about at the beginning of the year of pushing the time frame out of allowing decorations to be up for 2 weeks. I just want to double check and circle back. Did we implement that, and does individuals still have the 2-week time frame versus the shorter time frame?
Yes, whatever we put in that enforcement policy is what we're using.
Okay, awesome. And then I just wanted to know, I know we sent out communication to the community. I just wanted to circle around and see, do you have like kind of a response rate of how many individuals are actually signing up to their accounts and are aware of the change?
Yeah, I can get you that number here really quick. So homeowners signed up on Town Square currently are 430 members.
Out of the whole community?
Yes, out of 4,700, I want to say, homes. That's the number we currently have signed up on Town Square.
Okay, so individuals would that if they're in violation, so one, they may not know that of the change, or they might have missed the communication. And so if they are in any type of violation, individuals will only receive the correspondence through the mail. And is that at the first time they receive the violation, or is that, I can't remember the rules. If you can help me with that, is that a 3 weeks in, or when do they get
So
that?
the initial violation will go out both physical mail and by email.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Christina has a comment in the thing. She's saying that she's looking at, we have one vehicle parking violation, but she's saying there's way more auto court violations than one. So how are you coming up with that? Is that one you guys have observed, or one that you've gotten complaints on?
So this particular one would be we received information on it being a vehicle parked in the auto court. The auto courts are difficult because people are typically not parking there until after hours. We're doing our drive-throughs during business hours, and so we're not necessarily going to see those parking issues. So as I noted before, we kind of rely on the residents to report parking issues through Town Square. Because of that time frame that we're not going to visually see those issues happening. And while there's more, we certainly will find them as we can, but if they're not there when we're coming through, we certainly can't note that.
Sabrina, this is Cynthia. So how did you come up with Tuesday and Thursday when 80% of the parking violations happen Friday to Sunday night or Monday morning?
Well, our work week is Monday through Friday. So we opted to go with Tuesday and Thursday. Those were the prior dates that were being utilized for inspections by Westwind. We thought we'd keep that the same.
Oh, I thought they changed that in the RFP, but I must have missed that.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything in there that identifies coming through on the weekend hours for those enforcement drives. Okay, any other questions there? All right, moving into Town Square. So this just is any correspondence we're receiving from Town Square. This would include inquiries, work orders, requests for maintenance, and architectural applications. Just identifies that we've received 35 requests within the January and February timeframe, and then a list of any types of requests that we've received. And I won't go one by one, but just so you can identify those correspondence coming in.
Does close mean a decision's been made?
Closed means it's been taken care of, and now we can close the request or whatever it may have been. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That takes care of the regular business items, and now we move into an executive session if it is required. Is there a motion from the board to go into executive session?
Yeah, I would like, well, I'm going to do a motion for persons receiving legal advice, specific legal questions concerning the proposed consolidation of Town Center and Ebert, including limitations mandated by the Fair Campaign Practices Act and terms and timing of such consolidation per section 24-6-402, paren 4, close paren, lowercase b, close paren.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, been moved and seconded. Is there anyone opposed to going into executive session? All right, thank you. We will adjourn, not adjourn. We will go into executive session at 8:20. Members of the public, you're invited to stay online if you'd like. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but we'll go ahead and break out the board and council. And when they're finished with executive session, we will come back.
And I don't anticipate this being very long. I just want to clarify a couple of things with our attorney.
Bear with me 1 minute. Okay, everybody's back in, so we can resume the general session at 8:48. Next, oh, I'm sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
Well, the next thing just says other matters that may become before the board. I just wanted to let the folks who are still here at the meeting know that all we discussed, there's nothing to act on. All we discussed was more information about the requirements of the Fair Campaign Practices Act and what we can and can't do with regard to the work session. But we have no decisions to make as a result of anything that happened in the executive session. And before we adjourn, the only thing that I want to state at this point is I want to thank Cynthia. You may have noticed she is not going to be standing for election or going forward as a board member as of May. So her term will end on the board as of May 6th. She's been a member of the board, I believe, since the election of 2020. She's done a lot of work on behalf of the district and the residents of the district. And I want to just thank her for her service on the board and appreciate all the work she's done for the board and its residents and the district and its residents. So I just wanted to make that statement at tonight's meeting. So thank you,
Bruce.
Cynthia.
Thank you.
If there's no other business, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is anyone opposed? All right, we'll stand adjourned at 8:50 p.m. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.